Maria and Joelle are adding these two fractions, 1/3 plus 1/4. Joelle says the sum is 2/7. Maria disagrees. What do you think? Pause the video and talk about it. Alright, well I hope you had a good discussion. Maria doesn't necessarily know the right answer, but one thing she pointed out is 1/3 is actually a little bit bigger than 2/7. So 1/3 plus 1/4 can't be 2/7. The mistake that Joelle is making here is that he's just adding the numerators. He's adding 1 plus 1, and then he's adding the denominators as well. He's adding 3 plus 4. But that's not how fractions work. We can't just add 1/3 and 1/4 straight across. In fact, we can't add thirds and fourths together at all until we get a common denominator. Without a common denominator, it's like adding apples and oranges. You can see here in our models that the slices aren't even the same size for the fourths and the thirds. But what if they were the same size? Let me slice up these models a little bit more. So I've now drawn dotted lines on these two models to show how that they could each be sliced up into 12 slices, with each slice being the same size. That means each of these little slices represents 1/12. And if I put these together, I can see that I've got 7 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7/12. 1/3 plus 1/4 is 7/12. But what if I wanted to get that without using a model? Our model demonstrated the purpose of finding a common denominator and showed how it made it possible for us to add these two fractions together. To find a common denominator without drawing a model, we just need to list the multiples of each denominator. So that means I need to list the multiples of 3 and 4. To list the multiples of 3, I just count by 3's. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27. I could go on, but that's probably enough. And then I'll do the same thing for 4. Now remember, what we're looking for is common denominators, so we want the numbers that are on both lists. I see that 12 is on both lists, and you know what? 24 is also on both lists. I'm going to use 12 as my denominator, and let me show you how to do that. What I want to do is rewrite each of these fractions, but with a 12 in the denominator instead of the denominator that they currently have. So instead of a 3 in the bottom of 1/3, I want to write a 12 in the bottom. So what number goes on top and my numerator if 12 is in the bottom? I just have to think about the relationships between these two ratios. I'm going to put a question mark up there for now, but let me think. 3 times 4 is 12, right? So 1 times 4 is 4. So 1/3 will equal 4/12. Now let's look at 1/4. 4 times 3 is 12. So that means I need to multiply 1 times 3 to get my numerator. And of course, 1 times 3 is just 3, so 1/4 equals 3/12. And these are the two values we're going to add together now that we have a common denominator. So let's get ready for the fun part. Let's add. To add fractions, remember we just add the numerators, and we do not add the denominators. We keep the denominator. It stays the same. Do not add the denominators. If you add the denominators, your math teacher will cry. So as we've said, the answer here is 7/12. We added our numerators and we kept our denominator of 12. I hope that you feel pretty smart because you are. I have a question though. What would have happened if we had used 24 as our denominator? 24 is on both lists. Well, 1/3 would be the same as 8/24, and 1/4 would be the same as 6/24. So we would end up adding 8/24 plus 6/24. Oh my gosh, y'all, it looks like we're going to get a different answer. Oh no, it's 14/24. Hey, wait, that's okay. That's okay because 14/24 is just 7/12 in disguise. There's just an extra step we have to do. We have to divide both the numerator and the denominator by their common factor of 2. And there it is, 7/12. So it is okay to use 24 as your denominator. It just adds in this little extra step of simplifying your fraction. Do not forget to simplify your fractions. If you forget to simplify your fractions, your math teacher will cry. Okay, so now that we know all about adding fractions, let's just review subtraction a little bit. What if Joelle and Maria didn't want to know the sum of 1/3 and 1/4? What if instead they wanted to know the difference? Could we do it? Yes, we could. Remember earlier we said that 1/3 is the same as 4/12, and we said that 1/4 is the same as 3/12. So then we would just subtract 4/12 minus 3/12. Using the same process to find the common denominators, or using the same process to rewrite our fractions, it would just be subtraction instead of addition. 4 minus 3 is 1. And don't you dare subtract 12 minus 12. Nope, just leave the 12. So 4/12 minus 3/12 is 1/12. That means 1/3 minus 1/4 is 1/12. And that's how you subtract fractions.